Hello, and welcome to What's Next Wall Street. I am Georgia Alfredas.
And I'm Dave Mathews, and this is a show about stocks, crypto, and the new decentralized financial Web3 world all around us.
I've got details on all the hot new trending products that everybody is not only talking about, but they're using, they're investing in. And today, I'm talking about the Great EV debate. It's a thing.
And I'm going to talk about the Bored Ape Yacht Club minting of other side Metaverse deeds that sent ETH gas fees sky high, clogged the blockchain for 2.5 hours, and wasted $200 million. But
That's
what's
all.
that amongst friends?
We've got Greg Krause, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com, as our expert, opening a beer here. That was really loud. Greg charts a lot of these companies, and those chart indicators can show where a particular stock is headed so that it's easier to target investment potential. So Greg combines technical analysis with fundamental knowledge.
Our goal here is to get Greg a little sauced and provide you with education, information, and tips to help you become a more informed trader with a tailored trade plan so you can stay up to speed with what's next on Wall Street and keep stacking those tongue-twisting gains.
Yes, so you can email us at OptionsPlayers.com, or of course you can hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street with your questions. We can also direct you to instructors and experts over at OptionsPlayers.com who dig into those trading fundamentals.
Now you can watch this episode on the OptionsPlayers.com YouTube channel, or listen to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
So whether you're listening to the podcast or you're watching on YouTube, just do us a favor, make sure you subscribe, hit the alert button, and that way you always know what's next on Wall Street. And if you like it, give us 5 stars. Even if you don't, what's not to like? Did you see this, Dave? A Texas judge invited Disney World to relocate to the Lone Star State. So Fort Bend County Judge K.P. George, right here, accused what he called extremists in Florida and its governor, Ron DeSantis, of authoritarian, anti-business, and culture war attacks. Of course, DeSantis recently dissolved a special self-governing district Disney uses to manage its property in Florida as retaliation for Disney's objections to a law that bars teaching sexual orientation and gender identity before 4th grade. George said Fort Bend, which is outside Houston, would welcome the Disney family and its thousands of good-paying jobs and billions of dollars of investments. I know that the mayor has good intentions, but do you live in Texas? We can all agree that Texas is pro-business, but my home state can often be anti-culture. So I think Disney would run into the same issues in Texas. I mean, we want your business, but if you think DeSantis is bad,
it's a big state after all. Hey, speaking of Texas, a North Texas city will become the first United States municipality to mine Bitcoin. The Fort Worth City Council unanimously approved the plan to have 3 cryptocurrency mining machines run for the next 6 months.
Cool.
Now, Mayor Maddie Parker tells the Fort Worth Star-Telegram the city wants to see the program, if it'll work, and make Fort Worth a more welcoming place for technology. The plan is to have the miners run on a private network to avoid exposing government data. She also said that they'll only take as much power as 3 vacuum cleaners. So with that lightweight processing, the mining potential probably sucks.
I was like, really? Okay. All right, Dave. The U.S. job market is finally approaching a turning point as the economy recovers from COVID. Fitch Ratings predicts that by September, the labor market's going to have brought back all the jobs that were lost due to the pandemic. 13 states have already reached pre-COVID employment rates.
But who are these employers going to hire? A record number of Americans are continuing to quit their jobs. It's even got a name, the Great Resignation.
Oh.
So Labor Department figures show 4.5 million people voluntarily left their jobs in March, up slightly from the previous month in February. Now, professional and business services led the way with the largest increase in quits, followed by the construction industry. However, a new survey found that the people resigning are actually looking for a better job. The survey says 29% of full-time employees are actively looking for a new job at a different company. So maybe they should call this the Great Switcheroo, Georgia?
I like that.
And in weird hobby news, my old Burning Man team's audacious 5-year effort to cut a defunct Boeing 747 into sections that could fit on highways and move them 500 miles from the Hobby spaceport to Burning Man in Nevada, then reassemble it, of course, has found a new home.
Really?
It has been temporarily residing for the past 2 years inside of the Las Vegas Speedway. And after the sad loss of Tony Hsieh, CEO of Zappos, an Amazon company who paid out our Hail Mary performance bond for it to be moved off of the U.S. government land to the Playa to fabulous Las Vegas. Now the Fisher brothers and the team who run the amusement area 15, get it? It's a spin on Area 51.
Area 51. Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Now they've purchased the plane and they're going to turn it into a Las Vegas spectacle. Just like elderly Elvis, Britney, and Celine.
Okay.
Now I can't wait to see what they do with it. Oh, in the meantime, do check out their wacky supermarket from the experiential creatives of Meow Wolf in New Mexico.
Okay.
It's in Las Vegas in Area 15. It's called Omega Mart, and it's like no other shopping center you've ever seen, unless you've lived in Wonderland with Alice.
Okay, I want to see this. It sounds cool.
Today's pro tip is brought to you by OptionsPlayers.com. Literally, we asked Option Players members to give us their best trading tips. So this one is from Finner321 in upstate New York, who says, I'd say taking a course or learning a new concept and studying it and practicing it to incorporate into your own style. I have a competition. What is that? Of 3 trading
It's a real
styles
email.
I've married together. That was his own word. All right,
Yes.
thank you. To fit my risk tolerance and personality. Well, thanks, Finner. Now here's another one that's hopefully spelled better from Nurse John 93, who says, the tip that has really helped me is to occasionally take weekly gains out of the account and have it physically in hand to show you it's not just numbers, but real financial impact. This goes far in keeping me disciplined and taking the gains instead of hoping for home runs. Well, thanks, John, and thanks for not making up any fake words, too.
Okay, these tips are awesome. I love it. Keep them coming. And if we use your tip, we'll send you a really cool What's Next Wall Street tee, right? It's worth it.
This is the part of the show where we get to hear from you. You can always hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street. Comment on our YouTube page. We love those comments. Or email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com. This first email comes from Justin Wilson from OptionsPlayers.com, who writes, why is the 10-year T-note important? How does its price change? How should traders interpret its price improvements? Greg, T-bill. Did you play T-ball as a kid?
I don't know if I played T-ball. I think I played coach's pitch was be the first one.
Coach's pet. Okay.
Where the coach pitches it because we can't get it near the plate yet.
Okay, all right.
Probably the first one.
All right, T-bills, T-balls, what's going on?
All right, so the 10-year, why is it important? It's because it affects what mortgage rates are, what loans are, a lot of bonds for corporations. You have different ones. You have everything from 1 month to 2 month. We usually call those treasuries, and then you have bills and notes and so on. So when you get to the end on those long-term bonds, 10 years, it's just what people look at. It is what it is. That's the outlook of, a little bit long-term outlook for the U.S. economy for us. That's it. There's not anything behind it. It's just what businesses use. Therefore, we go at it. Now, the price of it is based upon the yield. Now, this is going to get a little nerdy. I'm going to try to explain it not too nerdy, but you have a par value. That's $1,000, okay? So I'm going to do this for just 1 year bond, all right? So if you have 1 year and it pays 10%, all right, you get $1,000 at expiration. So it will cost you in the very, very beginning, if it's 1 year out, $910 because you're only going to make 10% on it. So you're going to basically get that. Now, the math's not exactly correct, but you get what I'm saying? So that's the price. The yield goes to 3%, you're going to pay like $950 for it. So as the yield goes up, price goes down. So it's inversely related there. But for the reason why it impacts the market is because as yields go up, that puts people, it's almost risk-free money that you can put your money into to make your gains versus having something with risk. So once the yields go up on the bonds, money leaves equities and other forms of investment and go into bonds.
Okay. Well,
Right.
You did explain that very well. Okay. I understood it. This email is from Felicia Elaine in Cedar Hill, Texas. And Felicia writes, during a recent episode, y'all discussed calls, and I was a little lost. What are calls and why and when are they typically used? This email, Greg, is from my sister. I thought I explained this to her perfectly, but obviously I did not.
Okay.
So have at it.
Well, let's see do you know what a call is?
Obviously I don't.
All right. So if you, a call or option is just a contract. All right. So it's a derivative on an underlining. So You actually have this in real estate and other things. When you say, hey, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to pay $5,000 now down for the right to purchase this house at this price, and then you could sometimes back out. You actually see these every now and then in other things, but in a stock market option, okay, that's what you're talking about. If you purchase it, you have the right to buy something at a given price, right? For example, you want to buy Apple stock at 150. Someone says, okay, I have the shares. I'll sell you that. You can have mine if the price goes above that, and then you're going to give me a little bit of money. So just know you're paying a premium, just a little bit. All right, it's based upon implied volatility. That's a little bit too much right now. But so you give me money, and now you have the right to purchase that stock at a certain price whenever you want. Now, if the price goes down, you're not going to execute that and buy it because you could just buy it on the open market, right? So if Apple goes to 130, why are you going to buy it from me from 150? You get what I'm saying? But now if it goes to 170, now you can buy it from me from 150. That's essentially what it is. And now when you mix buying option or buying calls, selling puts, and buying puts and selling calls, and you mix them all together, there's a lot of strategies you can come up to get that edge on the market. Kind of try to be the casino, have that slight edge, so over time you can make money.
And Georgia, I think you have to have your account set up in a special way to do options trading. Not every account. If you open up an Ameritrade,
you just have to request it. They have options are riskier, okay, because they're leveraged, of course. So all you got to do is click a bunch of stuff. Your broker really doesn't care, and they'll give you the option to purchase certain things. Now, in your self-directed 401k and your IRA, you can actually trade options. And I highly suggest you learn how to do that. Now, I'm not saying buy calls or buy puts, but if you have shares, you might as well be selling some options against those. It could be Apple. We're just going to use that as an example. I know it's actually above 150, but say if it's at 150 right now, you can sell 190 calls and get an extra 3 or 4 cents. You know it's not going to get there next month, but you're just getting that extra $4 every month. Why not? All right.
So maybe your answer was better because I said it's like a contract. Google it. So yeah, maybe that was a little better.
It is a contract. So
well, if you have a question, we can probably answer it, or in my sister's case, Greg can. So hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street in the comments section, or you can hit us up on our YouTube page or email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com with your questions. Okay, I'm feeling super healthy. Yes, I'm working out a little bit, and yes, I'm eating a little bit better, but the real reason I feel so good has got to be Athletic Greens. I started taking Athletic Greens because I'm trying to, live a healthier lifestyle, but I don't always get all the nutrients I need while I'm on the go, which is like every day of my life. So the answer is take vitamins, right? No. Not for me. See, I hate taking pills. That's number one. And in order for me to get everything I want, more energy, better gut health, clarity, alertness, I would have to take like a zillion pills, and it would cost a gazillion dollars. So that's why Athletic Greens works for me. It has less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, doesn't taste all chemically because there's no chemicals or any nasty artificial stuff. And this is the most important thing, it's yummy.
Agreed, Georgia. My schedule is also super busy. I'm usually on a plane, on the road, and I'm just too busy to eat right. So I start my day with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens. And I know that if I'm absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens before I even walk out the door, I'm good.
Yeah.
Athletic Greens is a special blend of ingredients that supports your nervous system, your immune system, recovery, focus, and aging. But I'm not doing that aging thing. Basically all the things. AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits.
And here's another plus. Athletic Greens cost you less than like $3 a day, which is way cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. So do yourself a favor, stop taking a gazillion pills and supplements and reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D plus 5 free travel packs with your first purchase.
All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/WNWS. That's athleticgreens.com/WNWS. Take ownership over your health and, pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance today.
Well, the owners of Yuga Labs, who created the Bored Ape Yacht Club, had so much success and investor cash that they bought up the assets of CryptoPunks and a few other hot NFT properties.
Wow.
And then they had their NFT mint to sell virtual land called Other Deeds in their so-called Otherverse this last week. And it was a fail in the eyes of the community. Now, check this out. They raised some $300 million on the sale. And this is on top of the recent Andreessen Horowitz investment of $450 million. So you do the math, almost $1 billion there. So now, first of all, don't let the irony of Web3 being decentralized and then these guys buying out popular NFT assets to aggregate them, but then also create the world to put them in, don't let that get lost on you.
Okay.
It's actually brilliant, but not at all what this next evolution of the internet had in mind. You see, when they dropped their NFT sale on April 30th, Twitter was aghast at all the gas fees, which are what you need to pay just to complete a transaction. Some of these fees were $3,500 to $7,000 in addition to the 305 Ape coin that they needed to be converted from that to ETH in order to buy a piece of the metaverse.
Who has that kind of money?
Well, it's not as many ETH. It's not a one-to-one conversion. So, and that first mint was 100,000 Meta locations. No, not Meta Company, the owner of Facebook, but their own version of Meta. See how crazy this is getting?
Okay, all right.
But back to the new features and the failures. My buddy Drew Austin tweeted that the ordeal was an embarrassment for the space. What a pathetic experience they delivered to set everyone up to waste that much money on gas. They should pay everyone back.
Wow, how's he really feel?
Exactly, right? Now, the problem was multifold as they sold the Otherverse assets in ApeCoin, which required you to convert them from Ethereum, and the fees for the transaction were to be paid in Ethereum. Put on top of that, the fact that you had people nabbing up all these at once because procrastination, therefore raising the gas fees or the transaction fees for the blockchain transfer.
So wasn't the whole thing with crypto supposed to mean no more fees? I mean, we hate paying our bank fees. So what is up with this? I'm very confused.
Right? Irony. So you're absolutely right. The fees are just to get the miners to process the math for authenticating the transactions on the ledgers and confirming them in the blockchain. So since they all hit at once, it's like buying tickets to a hot concert. This has a habit of overwhelming the network with the number of transactions. See, the mathematics required are so complex as the length of the code of the blockchain grows. Plus, we haven't yet forked ETH to proof of stake, meaning the value will be based upon what you hold versus what you calculate, known as proof of work. So we're stuck in a world of fees when everyone rushes for a transaction of a popular drop like this. But you could just wait. It turns out that your Ape ID number was the same number as your land. So it probably wasn't the time is money quick land grab that some people thought it was. So you're not out of luck if you own a mutant ape or a bored ape. They have allocated 55,000 deeds of meta land that owners can buy over the next month. Now, you can wait for a lower fee, and that's the gas fee. And there's actually sites that show what's going on with the cost of a transaction. And the next 100,000 deeds are going to be gifted to those who help build out their metaverse.
Wow.
No news on how that's going to be allocated, however. Now, you can also buy other deeds on the secondhand market at OpenSea. In fact, many are listed now. And look at this number. There were over 200,000 transactions on the other side Meta ownership blockchain, and the amount of money transferred to their primary account is an unfathomable $10 million at the time that we're shooting the show. But also OpenSea has a ton of holes that need to be plugged. Remember the Open API issue that allowed bored apes to be sold at older list prices last fall? Or check out this new issue. They're still trying to uncover it. A bored ape sold for $115 after it was bought for 50 grand last summer.
Do you mean 115,000 bucks?
No, $115.
Like $100.
$100, yeah. Now, this had a current street value of 400 grand because of the rarities of it. Now, another mutant ape was sold by that same user for a ridiculous 25 bucks.
What?
Costing him about 75 grand on that second transaction.
So how is this even possible? I mean, is this real money that we're talking about? What?
Well, real, but kind of fake. Remember, the Bitcoin and ETH millionaires don't have a lot of places to spend their money. And with Gen Z wanting digital assets instead of old Porsches like me, digital assets come and go. In fact, OpenSea has all the Yuga Labs assets as the most popular on the platform as we shoot this. All you can do to this is protect your wallets with second-factor authentication and do not interact with art contracts that may get dropped into your wallet. Finally, make sure that you don't leave your seed keys stored or available on a cloud backup. This is very Wild West. So maybe don't even buy these things if you don't understand how easy come, easy go they are.
Oh my gosh.
So if you remember Zork, walking along a creek, discovering odd things in the text adventure game in the 1980s, this other side metaverse is ending up kind of like that. They're tweeting weird stuff about wishing Coda was here, whatever that means. They've showed this little critter on top of these islands. But look, they screwed this minting up, which showed the members for the first time that the community is not their priority, as many owners sold other projects just to pay for this drop. The community had to waste a total of $179 million in fees just to the miners. That goes nowhere except to people with computers. And all the volume of transactions even crashed Etherscan, a site that monitors exchange levels and lets you track transfers of NFTs. Plus, there was also speculation there was a kickback to Yuga Labs for driving mining fees up. Now that's a tough one to track since miners are mostly decentralized entities. Yep, Web3 is going great, so enjoy the ride.
Okay, so we know that Ford cut nearly 600 salaried employees and contract workers in the US. So the job cuts are mostly in engineering as Ford shifts from building vehicles powered by internal combustion engines to focus on electric vehicles, okay? So this whole electric car business reminds me of a show we did maybe like a year ago about consumers thinking about purchasing an electric vehicle in the near future. I think the recent gas prices have people doing more than just thinking. I mean, I just bought a Bronco for my 16-year-old, right? And I did that earlier last year, but if they'd made an electric version, I would have bought it ASAP. As a matter of fact, I have this new EV Hummer on order, and I ordered it last fall, and I'm still waiting. So if Ford comes out with an EV Bronco, I would buy that first instead because it's going to be cheaper. But Ford has an impressive lineup of electric cars already. They've got the electric F1, an electric F-150.
It's
My
amazing.
Dad's probably turning over in his grave. Are you serious?
It's amazing.
The Maverick, the Mach-E, which I drove, and it was amazing. I loved it. My 16-year-old was like, no, Mom, it's a girl car. But I love it. I thought it was cool. They got the Escape. They got the Explorer. I saw a revamped pickup truck the other day, and I was so intrigued that I Googled it. Okay, I got home and I was like, let me check this thing out. Dave, you probably already know all this stuff because I know you and trucks and cars, but there's literally a kitchen that has an electric stovetop that runs off the vehicle's battery. Is that so cool? And of course, it has a frunk. I'm not crazy about that grill. It's kind of underwhelming if you ask me, but the roof is cool. So I got caught in a wormhole, and there is not enough time in the day to discuss everything I learned about electric cars. So the point is that we've come a long way since the Chevy Volt. Remember the Chevy Volt? Yes, right. So here's my question, Greg. Should I buy one of these super cool electric vehicles, or should I buy the company stock, or should I buy both? Pretend my husband's not in the room.
All right, so the stock, absolutely not. Don't buy that stock. I don't really know any auto stock that I would consider a buy right now. Tesla is really not a car company anymore. Your Rivian truck with a kitchen in it. I mean, I'm a country boy, if you haven't noticed by my accent. If it had some cool like smoker or something that popped out, maybe.
Come on, you
but you
gotta
just
admit.
came out with an electric
But that's so
electric
cool.
stove. Okay, it's a street queen. That thing ain't going off road. It's got a kitchen in it. First off, let's just say, I don't see it.
It is a very capable
Okay.
off-roader.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
But
here.
Just to
Well,
be
look at
clear,
the-
it
look
can
at
be
the
off-roading,
F-150. What
but
about the
there's a
F-150?
certain person that's going to buy a truck that has a kitchen in it, and I don't think that person buys trucks. All right. Now, the Tesla truck, when it comes out, it looks a little weird, but then instead of a kitchen that you can add to it, it comes with a four-wheeler.
A quad,
You,
yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
that
That's who
kitchen
you're
sink
after.
actually looks better than the Cybertruck.
But can we just say
Yeah.
this, just so y'all know about Greg? We had an issue here in the studio today, and our producer was like, well, anybody got a screwdriver? Greg's like, I got a screwdriver. He's like, yeah, but we need a grill. Greg's like, I got a drill in the car. Like, who
Drill
has a
grill.
drill in the car? So
Because I drive a truck that doesn't have a kitchen in it. That's what.
I don't even know
Instead
if I
of a
should be asking you
kitchen, have a
this.
toolbox. All right. But yeah, Rivian has had some issues in its stock. You can see its IPO came in, it dropped. I'm not really going to get into why. I look at a few things. Car companies just do not survive. They get bought out. So your best bet is they get bought out. They never really enter mass production. In 100 years, there's only been one company in the United States that's a car company that has entered mass production. That's new. Do you know what the name of that company is?
That's new?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it?
Tesla.
Tesla, yeah.
That's the only one. Saturn, name every other one, never went into mass production, went bankrupt, and then got bought out by somebody, and then, of course, faded away. Now with the electric, you're saying this new company is going to be able, I know they just raised like 1.5 billion.
Yeah, and they have a contract with Amazon to build vans
so,
as
know,
well. So
they
it's
got
not
to
just the truck.
really get into it there and to get into that commercial side. Now, Tesla had it great because they led the market first. So they beat everybody else. But now there's a problem, even with Tesla, I feel. Now, if I'm going to spend $100,000 on a Tesla, now
You
there's
get a
enough.
Porsche Taycan.
There you go.
Yeah,
now there's a
absolutely.
Porsche electric out there.
Or
Now
that
there's a
Audi.
Mercedes. Now there's so many competitors. Tesla was it, and they built their. And I understand you had your Prius, whatever, and your other crap out there. Nobody wanted that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wanted that.
Celebrities were driving it, and we were like, yes,
Okay,
we
that
still
was
don't want it.
Yeah, we don't want it. The people that actually drive for real don't want it. So it is what it is. And
All right, so-
Tesla built it and made cool cars.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they made that market themselves, and it is what it is. I think they're well far advanced than anyone else, and they're playing catch up. But everybody else is now going to have to compete with all those cool Fords that came out.
Yes.
I saw a blue little Mustang crossover SUV thing.
Yeah, that Mach-E.
Like
It
in
is
the Target
so sweet.
parking
I
lot.
love it. I love it.
It looked nice.
So
Now, they were going to make that thing look like a Festiva or something, but the head of Ford sent it back to the designers, and he goes, "This is our new Mustang." And it's because of that Tesla thing you said. Yeah. The only reason why people bought Teslas is because they looked so good and they performed so well. So if Mustang would have come out with like a Fiesta electric, it would have been like the
Nobody would want
Prius or the...
Yeah.
So
So it was the same way for me. I live, like I said, way out in the middle of nowhere. Where am I going to charge this at? Yes, I can charge it at my house, but your normal, you got to
somewhere.
get a real charging station. It's not going to charge off a rail, anything like that, but you get what I'm saying. But it really comes down to Tesla has made their own. People trade Teslas. Like, you borrow my Tesla for a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I actually borrowed one.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of anybody like, let me borrow your Porsche? You could drive my Porsche? Absolutely not, right? That's not a real thing. So
Dave
there's
did
a
try
real.
it with me one time.
Oh, so it's a real community, and I don't see that in the other ones. So Tesla's got that. All these other up and coming, they're going to have an issue with all the competition. It's going to come from the Germans and everything else.
And the charging network always works as well. So, hey, we'd like to thank you, Greg, lead instructor at Options Players, for being here with us today.
Yeah, and all I took from that was buy the truck. And I'll just tell my husband what you said. Cool. Remember, if you've got questions, we can try to help you answer them. And we'd love to hear from you. Email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street.
You can, of course, watch episodes of What's Next Wall Street on the Options Players YouTube page and see when we announce the Rivian with the kitchen sink.
Yes.
Or listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, make sure you subscribe and hit the alert button so that you get current training info as soon as it drops. I'm Dave Mathews.
And I'm George Alfredas. See you next time on What's Next Wall Street.